Labour ministers have been preaching one thing but doing another since coming to power, and people are rightfully outraged. The frustration is growing, and now, in a moment that has everyone talking, the Scottish National Party's Stephen Flynn has taken the floor in Parliament and completely exposed Labour MPs for their blatant hypocrisy. Watch as he holds them accountable, calling out their contradictions in a way that can't be ignored. This is a must-see moment that lays bare the double standards at play. Stay tuned and see for yourself.
We've seen a government turn its back on those women. But not before, of course, they held placards. Not before, of course, they gave warm words when they felt it was politically expedient to do so. And let's listen to some of those warm words. Let's start off with the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, who said, and I quote, "All your working life you've got in mind the date on which you can retire and get your pension. And just as you get towards it, the goalposts are moved and you don't get it. And that's a real injustice." Let's look at what the Deputy Prime Minister said. They want their money back, and quite rightly so. Let's look at what the Chancellor of the Exchequer said. Pleasure to speak in the state pension age debate and talk about women who are being treated so badly. The government must listen. Hashtag WASPy. The Home Secretary, I'll keep fighting for a fair deal for WASPy women. The Business Secretary, I have always supported local campaigners and will continue to stand up for the WASPy women of Tameside. I know that you will fight on. The Defence Secretary, Labour will correct this historic wrong. And for those of us in Scotland, let's look north of the border. The leader of the Labour Party in Scotland, Anas Sarwar, who said, under my leadership, WASPy women will finally receive the justice they deserve. Or indeed, the wider Labour Party in Scotland, who stated, and I quote once again, Labour will right the historical wrong of pension discrimination by compensating more than 300,000 women in Scotland with an average of £15,000. When Labour wins, Scotland's women win. What happened? A parcel of rogues, indeed. Now, I was one of many who was in this chamber prior to Christmas when the Secretary of State decided to make a statement right before Parliament broke off to confirm that the government was sorry. To confirm that the government was sorry for the maladministration that took place. That it was going to make sure that the Department for Work and Pensions, which inflicted this wrong upon those women, would never do so again. Lessons would be learned. But that was your lot. The evidence that they used to back up their decision not to award any compensation, in fact, not even to discuss the concept of compensation within this chamber, was based upon data, as I understand it, of just 200 respondents from many years ago. They then go on to say that there's no money at all, as if they aren't the ones who get to decide how money is spent, as if they aren't the ones who have decided to box themselves in on pretty much every tax lever that possibly exists, that they aren't the ones, and I appreciate that not everyone in this chamber will agree with me on this point, that they aren't the ones who've decided to simply accept the broken economic norms formed by leaving the European Union, by rejecting single market access and access to the customs union, accepting the fact that that will cause economic damage and limit the money which is available to them. None of that was their fault at all. How very dare they? Do they think that the public are zipped up the back? Do they think that the WASPy women are not listening and not watching the decisions that they have chosen to take? This, Madam Deputy Speaker, is a defining issue. Many of us in the last Parliament watched on as a TV show changed the mind of the government in respect of the Post Office horizon. Many of us watched on as Parliament itself forced the government to change tact when it came to the infected blood scandal. Many of us have spoken about the Equitable Life scandal, the Hillsborough disaster, the loan charge debacle, and indeed the WASPI campaign. Defining issues of that last Parliament can still be defining issues of this Parliament, but only if the government acts to provide the compensation and redress that these women so badly deserve. There was a man who went on to become the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom who said that the walls of Westminster are so high. He was inferring that we don't listen to what the public want, nor do we see what it is that they are fighting for and what they believe in. But we know where the public stands on this issue. We know that they believe the WASPI women should be given the compensation that they deserve. And with this bill, we will seek to provide it, Madam Deputy Speaker. Thank you very much.
Do you think Labour is the most hypocritical party in the UK? Their actions since coming to power have sparked outrage, and many believe they've completely abandoned their promises. If you agree, show your support by liking this video, and don't hold back. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. Let's get the conversation going.